All right, how's it going? I got another video. So the other day, I believe it might have been Thursday, that there was a rally at the Columbus, Ohio Statehouse, and it's basically a rally that was talking about people's civil liberties were being trampled upon. Then also, I guess DeWine and what's her name, uh, Dr. Action, were like making all these claims and projections and stuff, and they weren't like releasing the actual evidence that they were making these claims and these predictions and stuff off of. So we'll get into this. Ohio protesters defy COVID-19 quarantine order in Statehouse to protest demanding statewide return to normal. Mass activists, including one carrying a rifle, shouted, "You are the virus," at government officials who have kept their jobs while much of the Buckeye State is out of work. We'll get into it already in here, but it's saying around 12% of the state's jobs in just the last 3 weeks have been demolished. So like almost like more than a tenth of the economy. And that's like devastating. Nearly 100 protesters descended Thursday on the Statehouse in Columbus, Ohio, in defiance of Governor Mike DeWine's coronavirus stay-at-home order, claiming it violates their constitutional rights of freedom of assembly and freedom of religion during the Holy Week that precedes the Easter holiday. So I'm filming this like very late Saturday night, so tomorrow, probably when this gets up, it'll be Easter Sunday. So there's a whole issue going on too about churches having Easter service, and like I guess certain cop precincts saying they were like shut it down or like jail people. There's even one, they were doing like a drive-through service and they were like shutting that down as well. You know, obviously that goes against, you know, being able to assemble and religion. So activists demand the government reopen Ohio's economy and public spaces despite warnings from public health experts that deadly COVID-19 remains highly contagious. There's actually a video if you look it up on YouTube. Although, well, I'll have this article linked in the description so you can go to it. But if you actually try to, I tried searching for this title word by word on YouTube and it wouldn't show up. So I don't know if they're pushing it down because it talks about Corona. It's not like a mainstream news thing. But if you go to I'll have this article linked. If you want to go to it, you can watch the video. It's like almost 7 minutes and it kind of highlights a little bit of what was going on, and they talked to some of the protesters as well. Most of the protesters stayed 6 feet away from each other, following the government's social distancing guidelines. The stay-at-home order, recently extended to May 1st, is intended to curb the disease's spread. Even though I've heard other people bring up the medical professionals saying, like, everybody's going to get it anyway. The quarantine was a bad idea. You should just go ahead and infect the healthy so they can go ahead and get the antibodies and get it out of the way instead of like prolonging this even more than it needs to be. But Ben Schuler, a mass political activist carrying a semi-automatic rifle, told Zinger News that the restrictions infringe on his rights. The Democrats have come out saying the boogeyman is out to get you, and if you give us your freedom, we'll protect you, said Schuler. I guess this is a picture of him. Mass activist Ben Schuler displays a semi-automatic rifle outside the Statehouse in Columbus, Ohio. On April 9, 2020, Schuler was part of the protest against government stay-at-home order quarantine directives stemming from COVID-19 pandemic. Nationwide public health guidelines have emerged from the administration of President Donald Trump, a Republican. Ohio's governor is a Republican, as are solid majorities in both houses of the state's legislation. Schuler sported a Trump 2020 campaign hat and held a flag depicting a Spartan helmet along with the words Molon Labe in Greek letters. Phrase means come and take is attributed to King Leonidas Sparta. Defiant comeback to Persian demand that he ordered his soldiers to lay down their weapons. Thursday's protest was planned without a permit in a secretive social media whisper campaign designed to avoid a large police presence. A whisper campaign? Or maybe just people just got together. State troopers kept their distance from both the activists and each other. Also, I seen another thing too. I think there's a couple of groups that got together and they're trying to plan around Monday, this coming Monday, so it would be the 13th around noon at the Statehouse. They're holding another for the Future Civil Liberties kind of event going on. So if you're interested in that and you're in or around the Columbus, Ohio area, you can go to that. So yes, I am promoting you go to that if you care about your civil liberties. I don't know if I'd be able to go to it. We'll see. They made no move to disarm Schuler, who was obeying an Ohio law that allows legal gun owners to openly carry fully loaded in public. He would have not been permitted to enter the Statehouse. I think it's him with the gun thing. That's a whole nother argument. I mean, he's allowed to do it, but that takes away from opening. The whole thing needs to be like the economy needs to open up. Then if people are elderly or they're like autoimmune, like compromised, whatever, like they themselves should be able to self-quarantine. But if you're healthy, because what is like the death rate is like at less than 1% right now with all the known cases and all these other individuals that are like carrying it and they're either asymptomatic or they're having like mild cases like, oh, it's just the flu or just the cold. It's kind of like a normal thing that happens, but they happen to have this COVID strand. Many protesters wore Guy Fawkes masks associated with the online hacker group Anonymous and complained about government overreach and constitutional rights while declining to reveal their names. Inside the state capitol, Ohio Department of Health Director Dr. Amy Action delivered a public statement along with Republican Governor Mike DeWine, which I think most Republicans I've seen online hate him and say he's not acting like a Republican. The shouting protesters were audible inside. I don't know if you can hear on television, but there are a lot of people protesting right outside the Statehouse, said Action. And people are worried. They're afraid. They're worried about things like their jobs. But we have to keep pushing forward with Ohio's plan for getting through the crisis. It's working. Protesters didn't agree, shouting, OHIO, Action's got to go. Mass activists holds a sign. Projected emergencies do not justify nullification of the Bill of Rights, which is absolutely true. No paycheck for us, no paycheck for you, the crowd shouted into the state capitol. That's another issue, too. I've been hearing people like, oh, just stay home, work from home. Like, there's a lot of people that don't have jobs that have the ability to work from home, and they're getting laid off. We'll get into the other one here, but there's like been close to the U.S. as a whole. There's been close to like 16 million unemployment claims in just the last 3 weeks. So a lot of people are not able to just do that, or they don't have the money or the financial economic resources to just stay at home and do nothing. Like people say, the whole cure for the virus is going to be much worse than the virus itself. Business is shutting down. The economy is doing horrible. It's not good for anybody in Ohio, and it's going to take decades to get back, said Scott Shoemaker, who spoke through the fabric of American flag. He was using it as a mask. I'm not an economist, but I don't know if it'll take decades, but it'll take a while for stuff to come back, I believe. I'm out here today because I'm tired of it, Shoemaker told Zinger. Here's kind of I understand why they're wearing that, but it does look I think it looks a little silly, them wearing it. But whatever. About 100 activists converged in the Ohio State House Thursday afternoon to protest a statewide stay-at-home order. Now, I was talking about possibly going there. I thought about going there to possibly, like, film as well. Where I have my cameras, I can film, maybe interview people and stuff, and maybe put it up on this channel here. Possibly somehow, like, if I can figure out a way I can, like, do that and live stream at the same time, I may possibly do that. Maybe get, like, a little GoPro and, like, film the whole thing, unedit it, then also cut a thing with my other cameras. I haven't figured that out yet, so we'll see. Because you can see right here, somebody is wearing a GoPro, like a chest harness. So maybe something like that would work. Get a GoPro with a chest harness or like a shoulder clip or something like that. Because some of the GoPros are able to live stream, I believe, as well. But I'll have to figure that out. I don't know yet. Because I don't have a GoPro, so I'd have to go, spend a couple $100 to try to get one. Protest signs visible on Thursday include one that demanded, let my people go to school, to work, to parks. Another one claims social distancing is social conditioning. A third sign listed cause of death in Ohio this year through April 2nd, claiming more Ohioans have died from hunger, cancer, smoking, drinking, alcohol, HIV, AIDS, and seasonal flu. Led by a woman holding a small red bullhorn, the shouting including complaints that lawmakers and other government employees have kept their jobs while private sector employees have been laying workers off. You are the virus, they chanted. I have seen more and more, maybe it's the stuff I'm looking at, but I have seen more and more people, like, they're getting frustrated that they're essentially being told to stay home instead of working. And there's going to be more protests and possibly riots coming. Then we'll get into this one really quick, talking about the unemployment claims remain high in Ohio, U.S. for third straight week. Claims for unemployment benefits in Ohio and the U.S. are remaining at record-setting levels because of the coronavirus outbreak. For the week that ended Saturday, 6.6 million claims were filed nationally and 226,007 in Ohio. The layoffs caused by the coronavirus outbreak kept coming by the millions. Another 6.6 million U.S. workers filed claims for unemployment benefits last week, according to federal jobs data released Thursday. Over the past 3 weeks, 16.8 million claims have been filed, wiping out more than a tenth of the nation's jobs. That scale of job loss is unprecedented in the U.S. history, PNC Bank chief economist Gus Faucher said. So, of course, leave it to the government to, and I guess China as well, to kind of demolish the economy. And it could get worse. Wells Fargo and Company expects more than 20 million jobs will be lost in the April-June quarter, with the unemployment rate soaring past 15%. And that's extremely high. The Ohio and U.S. economies have been brought to a halt as government and medical authorities look for ways to stop the spread of the disease. Restaurants, bars, hotels, airports, and other businesses have been mostly shut down as workers remain at home to ride out the pandemic. In Ohio, the numbers are just as staggering as the national ones, with 226,007 claims filed for the week that ended Saturday. In the past 3 weeks, almost 700,000 claims have been filed in Ohio. It's about 12% of the state's jobs. To put in perspective, 364,000 initial jobless claims were filed for all 2019. So in the last 3 weeks alone, there's been almost double the amount of unemployment claims as it was like all of 2019. Over the past 3 weeks, the state has distributed more than $124 million in unemployment compensation payments to more than 195,000 claimants. The mounting impact on workers and consumers from the economic showdown will be a substantial drag on economic activity in the near term, Ben Ayers, senior economist at Nationwide, said in a research note Thursday. We expect that real economic growth will decrease at record pace during the second quarter, with growth for all of 2020 being one of the weakest years in U.S. history. Wells Fargo predicted, however, that the economy will start to come back this summer as the nation begins to emerge from the lockdown caused by the pandemic, and businesses, the ones that remain viable, should begin to recall laid-off workers. Job growth should be rapid in the second half of the year, and the unemployment rate should begin to fall, the bank said. I've also keep hearing that because it was originally supposed to be, Easter, then they pushed it back to the beginning of May. Then some places are saying like mid-May, and some people are saying like June. There's some predictions like, oh well, we got to flatten the curve. We got to flatten the curve, and they just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. There's like one saying, oh, this could last like 18 months. You can't. I'm amazed it's gone this far without like full-on like riots going on. But yes, that's basically what I have to say about that. I may possibly try to go down there Monday. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get some stuff here. I am also, because if you're watching this right now, you're watching it more likely on YouTube. But I am just thinking about just start putting this, because I have like an Instagram for this too, where it's just the thumbnails. So I'm gonna try to. Last couple of days have been like really busy, so I haven't been able to put a video out. So I'm like trying to get back up with that. But I was contemplating just, put this on YouTube, put it on BitChute, put it on Facebook as well. Maybe create like its own Facebook page and just put the videos out and everywhere and try to essentially get the word out as much as I can. I may work on that tonight or tomorrow or something like that. Try to get all that in there. But yeah, tell me what you think, I guess. If you made it this far and you like it, you give me a like. If you really liked it, you can subscribe. I'm trying to obviously build this more. But I'm also kind of curious from your own experience, if you've experienced, or if you know, or you are somebody that's had corona or knows somebody that has it, or if somebody's been, people that have been like fired or laid off or whatever it is. Because I don't know anybody personally that's gotten the disease, but I've known people that have been laid off. And I understand the disease is a serious thing, but you also can't completely destroy people's livelihoods to be able to make money, to be able to pay their rent, to be able to, pay their electricity bill, their water bill, buy food. I got a buddy, luckily he works at a hospital, so he still has his job. But the apartment complex he's at, he said he came in the other day and there was like the non-payment of rent notes like on like a ton of the doors where people just don't have a job, and like I guess they're still going through and they're gonna like try to evict those people for not paying rent. So this is gonna create like if this goes this way, it's gonna create like a massive disaster. But yeah, let me know what you think. All right, peace.